All right, hello and welcome to another After Effects tutorial. And in this one, we're going to be talking about how to work with video mats for like intros or openers. And you see this a lot on YouTube. So here I have my clip here. And what I want to do is I want to make shapes. So clicking off of this so that I don't create a mask, I'm going to go up here to my rectangle tool. It's already selected, but here it is. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to draw out a shape like this. I'll make it a little bit bigger, something like that. And then I will duplicate it like that. And then you can duplicate it one more time like this. Now, a question some of you may be wondering is how do I get all of these to be even? Well, you can simply select them all and then go up to align and then select on distribute layers like this, and they should be aligned. Now we need to make these a mat as a whole. So what we're going to have to do is we are going to have to pre-comp all of these. So I will select them all, right click, select pre-compose, and I'm going to call this video mats. Press OK. And then if you go in here, you turn off the opacity, and you turn on your transparency, and you can now see your matte shapes. All right, so now what we want to do is we want to center the anchor points of these individually. I should have did this right at the start, but I'll do it now. So I'm going to press Control, Alt, and Home so that the anchor point is in the middle. And I'm going to do that for all of these right here. Good. Awesome. Now what we're going to do is we are going to animate the position. So I'm on 2 seconds. I'm going to select all my layers, press P to open up the position, and then I'm going to put a keyframe. And then going to the beginning, I will grab this third one and I will say move it over horizontally. Hold shift while you do that so that it doesn't move up or down. Go to the second one. You can move this guy over to this side and do the same with the third one, or the first one I should say. And then I'll just easy ease these. So highlight them all and select F9. Awesome. And then I will play this back. So I have something like this. And I'll make this a little bit faster. So let's do right about there. And you can turn on the motion blur as well. So click on this toggle switches and modes and then select the motion blur. Play it back now. We have this. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to rename this guy because I realized he has the same names as our first composition. So right click, go to composition settings, and then we'll call this matte shapes. All right, so that we can see the difference now. Now go back to your first composition right here. And what you want to do is you want to click on your footage right here and then go over to track matte and select alpha matte. Now notice that you have something like this. And if you play it back, you now have a cool little intro that has appeared. And you can do other things with this. You can say mess with the rotation of your matte layer right here. So click on it and press R. And then you can say make this 90 degrees if you wanted to. You could move it over to the side. You could mess with the scale, so press S. You can make it bigger, etc. So you'll have to come around and just play with this and find something that you like. All right, guys, so now I want to show you how to use the repeater effect to create video mats. So I have a new composition that I've created here. It's called repeater. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to create a shape, another square like this. All right, good. And I will center my anchor point. And then I'm going to go to add right here and I'm going to select repeater. Notice that this effect appears and we are able to add copies. So if I was to say make this say 7, I would have this. But we have a problem because we can't see anything in between. And this isn't what we want. So what we have to do is we have to go to our rectangle path here, and then you're going to uncheck this binding constraint, and then we can just lower this X size right here so that we get a little bit of space. And if you want to make the whole thing bigger, you can. Just go to transform down here and you can scale it up to however you want. Alright, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to align this, and I'm going to align it to the left. So we'll do right here. Alright, and now we're going to animate this. So I'm going to go to about 1 second here, and I'm going to put a keyframe for 7 copies. And then in the beginning, I will put a keyframe at 0. So just drag this down to 0. I'll easy ease these, F9. And if we play this back, we have this. And actually, we can make a few more copies. So I will put it at 10. All right, so all we have to do is go back to our first composition, video mats. And then I'm going to go to my lake layer and set this to no track matte. I will drag this top guy down. And then I'm going to grab my repeater right here, this new composition that we worked on. And I'm going to set my lake layer to be alpha matte repeater, like this. And if I play it back, I have something like this. And as you know, you can adjust this the way that you want. So you can do this and just drag it over to however you want it to be. So if I play it back now, I have something like that. So yes, you'll have to come in and adjust this the way that you want it to be, but that's just a quick overview of how to use the repeater with your video mats. Alright, so now I'm going to show you how to work with opacity, mask, and mats to create matte shapes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click, and then I'm going to create a new solid, and it's going to be black. And then all I have to do is go over here, up to the top, and I have it set to rounded rectangle. And I'm going to draw out a mask, just like this. Then down here, I'm going to duplicate it by pressing Ctrl D. And then I'm going to move it over, so I'm going to press Shift and right arrow, like that. And then I'm going to press Ctrl D to duplicate the second mask, and then shift it over. And then Ctrl D one more time, like that. And then we will just select them all, and then we will press Shift and left arrow, and then that moves them all over. Now, if we open up our opacity by selecting all of our masks and then clicking on this arrow, we see that we have our opacity right here. And if I go to, say, right here at 1 second and 12 frames, I can go and I can put a keyframe on my mask opacity, go to the beginning, and then set this to 0. And then I'll select the bottom ones and I'll just offset them. So I will press Shift and then page down, and I'll grab these bottom guys and move them over, and then Shift and page down again, select these guys, move them over, Shift, page down again, and then this guy. Highlight them all, easy ease by pressing F9, go over here, and then I'm going to drag my composition down here, opacity mask, and we don't see it right now, so I'm just going to click this, make it no track matte, and then select it again, and then select alpha matte. You could have also just left the alpha matte on and turned off the eye. Now if I play this back, we have a matte that is working with opacity and mask. So that's a quick little trick that you can do, and I hope that you will give it a try. Alright guys, so now I'm going to show you how you can actually export your mats so that you can use the actual video as your mat. And I'm going to show you how you can not only use this in After Effects, but also in Premiere. So I'm in my matte shapes composition right here. I'm going to go up to composition, and then add to render queue. And then for the render settings, you have this set to best at full resolution. That's good. And then down here in the output module, this is important. Select it. You're going to set this to QuickTime. And then I'm gonna have this set to RGB plus alpha so that whatever is transparent is going to appear transparent. If not, we will have like a black background, and we don't want that. And then in format options, I have it set to animation, and the quality is on 100%. Press OK. Press OK down here. And then the output, I'm gonna save this on my desktop. So matte shapes. And then I'm gonna press render. That's done. Now I'm gonna go back to my first composition right here. All right, good. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm going to import my new footage in. So go down and then select this matte shapes. And then down here I'm gonna set this to none, my lake layer. And I'll move the repeater down to the bottom. Then I'm gonna drag in my mattes video right here. And then set my lake to alpha matte, matte shapes, MOV. And now notice if I play this back. So that's how to use your matte videos in After Effects. Alright guys, so now I'm going to show you how to use the matte shapes in Premiere. So I have Premiere open here and I brought in my lake clip and I have my matte shapes over here. I'm going to drag this in. Now all you have to do in Premiere is you have to go to your effects, so right here. And then you're going to look for the effect called Track Matte Key. So search for that up here. So you're going to grab the effect and then you're going to bring it on top of your lake clip or your actual footage. Then go up to Effects Controls, and then in the Track Matte Key effect down here, you're going to set this matte to Video 2. Right here, because this is the Video 2. We see it. And just make sure that you have the matte alpha selected. Now if I play this back, we have this. So that's how to use your mattes in Premiere. Alright guys, so I hope that you learned a lot in this video about mattes and how to use them in After Effects and in Premiere. I hope that you will give it a try, and we will see you in the next tutorial. Until next time.